So I bought Le Mans Ultimate a year ago with my own money. Like, I didn't take a sponsored copy or paid review or anything. I bought the game and I thought I'm just going to see if I actually enjoy it. And would I say I got my money's worth out of Le Mans Ultimate over last year? Probably yes. Am I annoyed that I now can't access some of the cars that are coming because I'm not got all the season pass DLC? Also yes. However, I thought I'd come back to Le Mans Ultimate a year later and see just my guy, see just what's improved. And I'm playing this on some incredible equipment. This is the Mustang VPG GT3 Mustang wheel, the actual Mustang like wheel from the car. It blows my mind. 18 Newton meter base and hydraulic pedals as well. So really nice setup here. And we're at Spa, one of my favourite circuits, driving GT3s, so not driving the GTEs that the game came out with, but driving GT3s. And I have to say, this is running on a 4060 Ti. Like, this is not running on a £2,000 graphics card. This is running on like a, what, 350 pound graphics card? And like not the high RAM, VRAM version either. And it's looking pretty good. I'm running at 1440p, and I'm not running hypercars here, I'm not running the other classes. But it's running pretty well on a 9900X. So performance feels a lot better than it was back in the day. Like, this was a very glitchy, buggy game back in the day where the tracks would take ages to load. Like Le Mans, you could literally make dinner in the time it took for Le Mans to load. That's not the case now. Well, Spa in any event loaded pretty quickly. They've added a load of stuff like that. Radar wasn't present in the original game. There's a lot of stuff that they promised that was going to come that isn't really here, like a lot of the single player stuff and also the like co-op multiplayer. That's really exciting. I feel like they're the sort of things that you can use as marketing tools and not actually deliver them. It's a bit like Gran Turismo Sport, was like, oh, you're going to get like a real world racing license. Never happened. Not sure it's ever likely to happen, but it was a great marketing tool for the game. But we have the present R Factor 2 force feedback, which is very grainy, which I like. I like the fact it's different. It's very different to iRacing. It's very different to AC and AC Evo. We have the fully licensed cars, although something's gone wrong with the scaling here. It looks like maybe the logos are still 4K or something, or like they're very small. But that's Team WRT. I was here at Spa with Team WRT, Vincent Voss, who owns the team, Valentino Rossi, one of his drivers, Robert Kubica as well, another one of his drivers. They won, actually. Was it Rui Andrade as well? I interviewed. So, like, it's great to see the licensed cars and liveries, and that's amazing off the bat. You don't get that in iRacing. You don't get it in... Well, you do get it in AC, but you don't get the drivers that I'm kind of aware of. Like, WEC is a championship that's more, like, accessible to me than some of that GT racing. You can even see that the rear view mirror is working quite well with that 296 behind me. These were things that were bugging the original game. The radar itself, I've done a big radar comparison, by the way, of all the sims in the big, all the radars in the big sims, and we like the Le Mans Ultimate one because it's got the kind of like feeling you can see cars struggling under traction. So it's really exciting on the exit of a corner. And I have to say, it's just handling really not. I like this. If the game had come out like this, I think it really would have taken sim racing by storm. Instead, it got memed. You know, maybe unfairly so, but maybe there was a little bit of like overhyping. How much you determine is a little bit is kind of a bit subjective, but you know, overhyping certain features, and that was pushed back on with cynicism by the community. Obviously, massive marketing budgets and the history of motorsport games. You know, around this time they were giving up licenses. They hadn't developed games for certain series where they had made it exclusive. You know, Le Mans is, I think, still exclusive, right? Like, you can't do Le Mans 24 hours in iRacing. So that still hangs over them. But at least now they have a game. I think I said at the time, like, if they release a good game here, a lot of that just won't matter. Like, ultimately, if they release a good game, it doesn't matter what happened in the past in terms of like not delivering on everything. This will become a new standard. Obviously, you know, NASCAR fans might disagree because of their atrocious stewardship of the NASCAR series, which looks to be a much better home now in iRacing, which bought the license and actually paid Le Mans Ultimate or Motorsport Games for it. But, you know, this is awesome. And I'm not a massive fan of the monetization model. I think I paid enough money when the game was in difficulty to kind of deserve getting the few cars and tracks they've added since. And the fact of not getting all of them kind of like annoys me, but maybe there's other people that deserve it more because they're paying more money. Maybe they should have made that clear at the start, like you can have early access or you can be like super early access and you'll get everything. Maybe nitpicking, but again, that won't matter in the wash. For anyone who's buying it now, kind of what we felt at launch is in the past a little bit. I also think the game is handling a lot better. Like, I remember when this game came out, it felt very, very, very difficult. And, you know, it was a bit refreshing, but after a while it was like, you know, Lakeing was very difficult with the weight transfer and the power, especially in some of the hypercars. But maybe the game was just more difficult back then, and maybe driving in GTEs, you know, without ABS, for example, was just fundamentally more difficult. And I can still drive in GTEs, but the newer cars are all GT3, so I want to be in that GT3 pack. I'd say it definitely is a much better game since launch. It has this air of suspicion about it, doesn't it? You just don't know what they're going to do next. You know, already some of them online is now, you have to pay for it on like a monthly basis, and like, okay. And unless you've got that hardcore fan base, I just don't think people are going to pay for that kind of subscription. And I feel like with the licensing, this should have an insane single-player campaign. Like, you should be able to design your hypercar or something, and enter the World Endurance Championship, and kind of choose your teammate or try and get a contract for your teammate, and go around the world. And it should be like that. And they just don't have the budget, or maybe again more cynically, they want to focus more on the aspects they can monetize, like online championships and hosted service and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's a crying shame, because I would absolutely love a kind of like TOCA-esque story here in the World Endurance Championship, and you know, maybe starting in GT3s, going to LMP2s, and then having some kind of management mode on top would be insane. And it feels like games back in the day were scoped correctly, that you could kind of have these experiences. But nowadays, like, you know, it's hard to get them even off the ground. He's got me back there, fair play. It's hard to get these games even off the ground. They're all coming out in early access. They're all rougher than we think, right? When's the last time a racing game launched in early access and we're like, oh, this is much better than we thought? Maybe it's not really a sim racing game. Maybe Tokyo Extreme Racer is like a rare exception. But, I mean, let me know if you agree or disagree with that. The difficulty here seems pretty fun. I can't remember what I've got it on, but except they seem to break sometimes up Eau Rouge. I think the UI is good. I think they've got a really nice broadcast mode. I don't think they've done... I don't think they did the Le Mans Ultimate Virtual Series last year, did they? I don't know what's going on with the Virtual Series, where Max Verstappen raced it 1 year and he was like, uninstall R Factor 2, like just uninstall it. So it's pretty embarrassing. But this is a pretty incredible... Oh, 3! I mean, that's absolutely sensational! Look at this! In the World Endurance Championship! Round the outside of the Corvette, surely not. No. Block the door. I mean, it needs to have a story mode here. Maybe we create one. What do we think about that? Maybe we create a story mode that you can kind of like, what do they call it? Dungeons and Dragons? Like RPGs, role-playing games? You can like follow the instructions and create your story. But it's an incredible experience, and you know, I'm using the wheel here. The Mustang is coming to the game as I record it. Like, it's coming out tomorrow, I think. So there's a big market for like this license stuff. The game's handling really nicely. The cars feel very stable, so it's going to be a really fun experience online. And yes, it's Spa. Yes, it's Spa in GT3s. And I was thinking, why are they trying to compete here? You know, there's plenty of places to go for GT3s at Spa. But I have to say, this is more fun, I think, than ACC. I actually prefer the handling here to ACC. Like, to be specific, I don't like the slidiness, the tyres overheating in ACC, and like the mushy handling you have, and like the, you know, the aggression of the curbs as well. These are things we've kind of taken for granted in ACC that I don't like. I mean, taking a line like that in ACC would be a very different experience in kind of the intensity of running that curve. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't know if there's going to be another lap here. Is there going to be another lap? How does it work? Ah, checkered flag. Checkered flag. Well, that was a lot of fun. So I feel like I can recommend that, but be cautious. My journey on this game has been fraught with trapdoors and suddenly pay more money, pay for this, pay for that, pay for this. So know what you're getting yourself into. If they could charge a monthly subscription to play the game, I'm sure they would. However, fair play. The game is now in a lot better state than it was a year ago. And as far as a single player experience goes, that was really fun. Like, that was genuinely really fun. I want to hear from you if you're a London Ultimate fan. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you want to see me do in London Ultimate. And I'll see you next time.